So welcome to Lifehacks with the Tipman. I am, as always, grateful that you're here. I am Tim Thompson, the aforementioned Tipman. We're going to be talking about how you can win at disputes. There are three things you have to do, and I'll talk about those three things. And I want you to know I learned these three things the hard way, man. So you're gaining from my pain here, but they work. The other things, I got a couple silicone gadgets that I think you're really going to like too. But hey, again, appreciate you being here. Please like, subscribe if you like the show. Lets us know you're out there. And on with the show. I personally think 90% of the time where people lose socks is static cling, where they attach themselves to underwear and pants, or the favorite, they get in a pillowcase. Man, it takes forever to figure that one out. Probably about 5% of the time, they get dropped on the floor and pushed under the washer and dryer. I guarantee if you went in today and moved your washer to dryer, you're going to find a pair of socks. Almost guarantee it.
Nice.
So anyway, so what do you do? Well, the first thing is if you don't have a sock orphanage, you need to have one. And this is my sock orphanage. And basically it's attached to the dryer. And whenever I get a single sock, it just goes in the sock orphanage. And 2, 3, 4 weeks later, when the missing sock shows up, I just go to the sock orphanage and voila, I got my pair back again. Now, if you're looking for a solution on how to prevent losing socks, you can take a laundry mesh bag. They come in all kinds of sizes. You can actually like binder clip them to the side of your clothes hamper and just tell the family, okay guys, dirty clothes go here, socks go into the laundry mesh bag so we don't lose all the socks. Put them here, wash them. There are 3 products out on the market I need to tell you about. The first one is called the Sock Dock. And what it is, it's basically a little hanger with these clasps attached to some bungee. And basically you put the socks in between those clasps, kind of like what I have here, okay? And so what you do is every time a family member has dirty socks, it goes into one of these, you tighten it up with the clasp, and then you just remove the hanger and you put this whole thing in the wash and the dryer. It cleans them, get them clean, you take them out, you stick them back up, you hang them back up, and you tell the family member, okay, here's your clean socks. I will tell you, for professional sports teams and laundromats, they actually use something called the laundry loop. And a laundry loop is basically just a piece of bungee with a fastener on it, and you put the socks in and then you just tighten it up like what I have here, and it keeps a pair of socks together. Again, sports teams, this is their go-to. This is what they use. They're cheap. You can get like 30 of these for like $10. You guys know that I love silicone. There is a silicone version of the laundry loop called the silicone clip. And basically you put the 2 socks through the piece of silicone. I'm not a big fan of this just because the laundry loop just works much better. It's easier. I think this actually holds the socks better than the silicone. I know. I'm a huge fan of silicone, but in this case, the laundry loops actually do a better job. And the funny thing is, this is the same price as, this little clip is the same price as this. I'd go with the laundry loop. A good friend of mine, Tracy Tesmer, great guy. I've known him for decades. How I got to know Tracy is he would have me on his Saturday morning home improvement show in Atlanta and then Gainesville. And one of the hacks Tracy taught me that I really took to heart was the hack of whenever something breaks in your home, whenever something goes wrong in your home, you do not sit on it. You get it fixed right then and there. Don't delay, do it right then and there. And Tracy's mantra was, he's like, look, it's cheaper if you do it right away. And he said, on top of that, he said, you know what? Life throws all kinds of things at you. Your house should always be ready to be sold. And if you've kept it repaired, much easier to go in and sell it versus if all of a sudden you have to spend huge amounts of dollars to get that house up to minimum standards to sell it. There is a concept called entropy. Okay, I'm starting to put people to sleep. Isaac's going to sleep on me over there. Entropy. Entropy is just a way of saying in the universe, if you don't maintain something, it falls apart. And that's true across the board for everything in the universe. Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a small hole in your roof and you don't do anything about it. Well, water gets in, it damages the wood frame. That causes damage to the insulation, which causes your HVAC system to work a lot harder. So just that one little hole that you didn't fix, now becomes a series of a bunch of other issues you have to address. That's the cascading of it. There has been research showing that for every dollar of fix that you delay, it ends up costing you $4 to $7 later on. Seriously. The other thing that backs up Tracy's hack is psychology. And there's something called the broken windows theory. And basically the theory is neglect begets neglect. So if you're not taking care of something, that kind of creates an attitude of, well, I'm not going to fix this because I haven't fixed that yet. I really need to get and fix that first. And then something else breaks. Like, well, I got to fix that, and then I'll get to the. It grows. And hey, here's something to think about. Here's a parting thing for you. That concept also applies to any other large purchase you have, like a car, but it also applies to your body. Think about it. A couple of years ago, I was flying out of Utah after going hiking, flying back to Florida, and I was on American Airlines, and I probably had my worst airline experience I've ever had in my 40 plus years of air travel. It was terrible. I saw this young man, probably in his mid-20s, and he lost it. He just started very loudly going, "This is terrible. You don't care. The customer service is awful. Now we gotta walk all the way down. I can't believe you're doing this." I'm an old dude. I knew what was gonna happen, and it did. One of the senior gate agents came out and basically, I'm paraphrasing, said, "You need to shut up or I'm gonna kick you off this flight and ban you from the airline." The mistake this young man made was that he lost his cool, and that's number one. Whenever you're dealing with any kind of dispute, never lose your cool. Because if you do, you allow your opponent, the other person on the other side of this issue, to basically treat you as hostile, okay? And it gives them a lot of power. The second thing to dealing with a dispute is you need to know what you want, okay? You need to kind of know ahead of time, what is the outcome that you want? Because if you don't lose your cool, odds are really good that at some point they're gonna ask you, okay, what do we need to do to make you happy? And if you don't know the answer to that, they're gonna go up, well, hey man, you're just wasting my time. You don't even know what you want. So you gotta be ready for that. The third thing, just as important as the other two, is you need to be politely persistent. This is powerful, okay? Don't lose your cool, know what you want, but be persistent, but just be incredibly polite as you're being persistent. I will tell you, if you do all these three, odds are you're gonna win that dispute. So I hope that helps. I wish I'd known all these back in my 20s. I didn't, but trust me, they work. For my last hack I'm gonna share with you, it's on silicone sponges and silicone funnels. So for silicone sponges, a lot of people don't even know that these things exist. And they're completely made of silicone. They last forever. You can put them in the dishwasher. They don't develop smells because they're non-porous like regular sponges are. You know, a normal sponge, if you can get a couple weeks out of it, you're doing pretty good. This thing, I'm telling you, you can pass this on to your heirs. A variety of models out there that you can get. These two are probably my favorite, and I have links below to them. The thing is, they have a soft side, but then they had a rough side as well to help kind of scrape off hard stuff. One of the most important things about these is they're safe to use on non-stick surfaces. This sponge I actually kind of like because it actually has a nylon piece to it that you can use as a scraper, and it doesn't mess up the pan. Both these are great. Less than 2-year payback. This is like 15 bucks. Seriously, less than a 2-year payback if you use this thing. Highly recommended. Silicone funnels. Now, the reason I like these for the kitchen is because, I don't know about your kitchen, but in mine, space is a premium. And so I'm always trying to conserve space. With the silicone, whenever I use these things, and by the way, they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, when I'm done with it, I just flatten that sucker after I get it out of the dishwasher and just store it. I will tell you, here's kind of a pro tip. I actually use silicone funnels for putting windshield wiper fluid in my truck. And you can buy special ones for that purpose, like I have these from Grits. They do a great job. What I do is I keep it in my truck. I actually use a Stasher silicone bag, which you might remember from a previous episode is kind of the silicone version of the Glad bag. I'll just take it, use it, flatten it, kind of shake it out a little bit, just stick it in my Stasher bag and store it in my truck, and I don't have to worry about it. I love that tip. Hey, thank you for being here. Hope you like these hacks. Hope you found something beneficial. If so, please share it with other people. Share the love, and please like and subscribe. And let me know if I did anything right or wrong. Have a great week.
Silicone team.
Yeah, gotta love silicone. Love silicone.
Awesome.